Good morning again. My story begins in the church. I was raised in a loving Christian family, and pretty much any time the doors were open, we were in the church. I was taught that Jesus was the Son of God and that he loved me. So as a child, all was right with my world. But as I grew into my teen years, I began to realize that there was something missing. I had no peace. I used to worry about everything. I would look and see, my mom especially would take anything and everything to God in prayer. And as I would watch her and the peace that seemed to fill her life, I was just confused. I didn't understand. I would pray, but I didn't feel like my prayers were leaving the room. I loved Jesus, and there were times in my teen years that I felt I'd hear a message or something at church or in the youth group, and I would feel my heart racing, and I know now that was God drawing me to him, but at the time I was confused with that feeling, didn't know what to do with it, and so I just let the moments pass. And then one day, I was alone in our house, had come downstairs and gone into our family room, and the television had been left on. And as I walked into the room, the very first thing I heard was a Bible teacher giving the salvation message. And I stopped and I listened, and for the first time I really let that sink in. I realized what was missing for the first time, and then that was that I had a response to make. The Bible says in the book of John that as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name. I knew that I had sinned. I knew that I hadn't lived up to God's standards, and I knew the penalty for that was death. And I knew that Jesus had come to this earth, lived a perfect life, and laid down his life willingly on the cross to pay that penalty of sin. But I hadn't ever personally turned that to him. And so that day I confessed my sin before him, and I asked him to save me. And he did, and I became a child of God that day. I can't say any bells and whistles went off, but I did feel unburdened. I had peace with God now because he had forgiven my sin, and the peace of God began to grow in me. Over the years, I've learned that I can take, like my mother did, I can take anything and everything, big things, small things, doubts, fears, storms in life, getting up here this morning, to God in prayer and thanking him for his faithfulness and for how he's working in the situation. And he gives me a peace that is beyond understanding through his son, Jesus Christ. And I also know that on the day that I received him, he began a good work in me. God began molding me and shaping me and changing me and making me more like his son Jesus, and that he will continue that work throughout my life and perfect it on the day that I meet him face to face.